If you want to understand why religion is doing so well nowadays, I think you only need two set texts. One is The Wealth of Nations, and the other is the American Constitution. Smith was incredibly direct about the reason why non-established clergy, i.e. ones who weren't paid by the state, did better than the ones who were, and the reason was they had to go and compete for people's souls. And in the American Constitution, you had a system that bred competition. One of the most interesting things about American history is if you go and look at the period before the Revolution, America was pretty religious, but not that religious. And one of the most amazing statistics to me was in Salem, a town which I'd always assumed was, Puritan beyond most reproach. In 1683, 83% of the taxpayers had no religious identification. Yes, the Puritans came to America, but also so came rather a lot of criminals and active young men who had slightly less enthusiasm for the godly ways. But what happened afterwards was once they set the thing going, competition pushed the rest of it forward. In many ways, I think it still comes down to basic supply and demand, and I'm sorry to put it in such business terms for people who come at it from a more pious end. But people are going to religion because it is doing things for them. On the one hand, its religion helps protect people from the world. That's true in some cases. In much more cases, though, I think it's helping people getting on, helping people get ahead. I don't think it's any coincidence at all that the most successful religious book of recent history is called The Purpose-Driven Life. What on earth am I here for? Scientists, interestingly, have begun to change. As we said at the beginning, what's happened is that some scientists are still looking about the existence of God, whether he's there. Many more, actually, are now beginning to look at why does religion work? What happens? They're doing odd experiments, like putting nuns and Buddhist mystics into MMR machines, not admittedly at the same time, and studying what happens to their brains when they pray. So on the one hand, there is demand. There's a reason why Ned Flanders is smiling. Happiness, I know, a subject which the AEI has followed a lot. These are bits and these are areas that religion is actually delivering on that. There's also, I think, a lot to do with supply. Religion is now a huge industry, most obviously in America, but also going abroad. We detail it in great length in our book. It's partly to do with the pastorpreneurs. Peter Drucker was very, very early onto this. He spotted that actually the American megachurches were one of the best organizations of the late half of the 20th century, fantastically efficient at reaching out to people. There's something for everybody, from biker services, Bibles for tweens, godcasts, you name it. And now this model is being exported. It's being exported to places like South Korea. Again, I went to there to go and look at the biggest church in the world, where 830,000 members in the middle of Seoul. In fact, there are 5 out of the biggest 10 churches in the world in Korea. And the Koreans have taken the American model of competitive religion, adapted it, and then tried to re-export it back there, back here. And the same thing is happening in countries like Guatemala. There's a big new building there called Mega Frata, which Adrian went to, or Big Brother, which you reach rather wonderfully via Burger King Drive. And competition is also working with other faiths as well. What's happening is as the Protestants push hard in Korea, you get reply from the local religions. As the evangelicals push hard in Latin America, the Catholics are learning how to battle back. And it's no longer just a Christian thing either. Hinduism is getting on the act. You go and visit a place in Bangalore, as Adrian did, at the Hindu ashram, you discover a boardroom, a CEO, monk, and a system for run on near business-like efficiency. The new preachers of the Islamic world are very different from old-fashioned imams. They use all the tools of modern technology, such as television, the internet, and cell phones. So it's not just America, and it's not just Christian, but Christian America is still, and I accept this as a generalization, but it's still fundamentally the model.